Hey Eagle fans, before we start today's video breaking down a crazy win yesterday against the Saints, who saw that coming? Not me. We have a really cool jersey giveaway going on right now with our friends at BetUS, and it's 100% free. It's all on us. So stick around later on this video to learn how you guys can pick up one of really many free Eagle jerseys that you see across your screen right now. I mean, you get Hurts, you get Wentz, Miles Sanders, Fletcher Cox, really any player they make an Eagles jersey for. We could be sending you guys one. Stay tuned for how you go ahead and jump in on that jersey giveaway a little bit later on in this video. All right, here we are. What do you know? They beat the number one defense in the National Football League, the number one seed in the NFC. Who would have thought? I'll be honest, it wasn't me. I did not think that Jalen Hurts was going to be a big enough factor in the Eagles winning. Now, he was a massive factor. He was great yesterday, but the team as a whole, the receivers, the offensive line, the running game, the defense, they were fantastic. Give me your one-word reaction to this win. I'll be honest, shocked. Out of all the games we've watched Philadelphia play this year, this looked like a completely different team. I'm shocked, absolutely blown away they won this football game, and honestly, It's a fun day. It was a fun day yesterday to watch them actually win a football game. There's a lot to get into here in our Overreaction Monday. Let's jump in quickly, though, with some injury updates here. We don't have official word on where these guys are at. They're going to probably get more word later on here on a Monday. We'll update you guys later on this week. But they did lose Avonte Maddox. He had that knee injury in the first half, kind of hobbled off underneath his own power, but still was limping pretty badly. Darius Slay had a head injury. He did come back and play a little bit later on. The Rodney McLeod knee injury looks pretty bad. They didn't give us any update on that one, but that is something to go ahead and keep an eye on. And, of course, Malik Jackson also probably in concussion protocol with a head injury. He left there in the fourth quarter. So, again, make sure you guys are staying up to date and tuned into that because we're going to give you guys more updates on this later on in the week. But drop a like, though, if you guys are tired with injuries. I mean, just when you start to get good, you have a good win, there's still some negatives in terms of injuries. So like this video if you guys are just tired of the problem that's been there all season long, and that is injuries for Philadelphia. And like I said, make sure you guys are subscribed, though, because we're going to give you guys full updates on how long Maddox and how long Slay and McLeod and Jackson could all possibly be out. Big impacts there on the defensive side of the football. Click the red subscribe button down below. The way you guys are notified and up to date whenever we go ahead and drop those videos. Probably the next couple of days whenever we get the latest news on that one. Okay, into our latest Week 14 overreactions. The one we're seeing, of course, is that Hurts changed this team. That Hurts has saved this team from the dark shadows of terrible offense. And listen, yes and no. One, we got to be honest. Jalen Hurts was fantastic yesterday. One of the best rookie starts we've seen in a long time, not only in Philadelphia, but it's just in the history of the National Football League. He was the first quarterback since Lamar Jackson to have 100-plus yards rushing in his debut, his rookie debut, and it looked effortless. I mean, this was not the Michael Vick where he's taking a bunch of shots. It wasn't Carson Wentz dipping and dodging and taking shots as well. Hurts would run out of bounds. He would slide. He was absolutely fantastic, and I think that jump-started not only himself and the Eagle offense, but Miles Sanders as well, who had one of his best days as an Eagle to date this year. 14 carries, $115, 8.2 yards per carry. Are you kidding me? That's an unbelievable yards per carry number, and 2 touchdowns as well. We give a lot of credit to Jalen Hurts, and mainly because, 1, didn't turn the football over, made no dumb decisions, and 2, didn't take sacks. Two of the main reasons why Carson Wentz is on the bench right now. He turned the ball over too much and took too many sacks. The pressure was still in Hurts' face, but completely nonchalantly, he just kind of roll out of the pocket and run for 5 yards, or sometimes run for 15 or 20 yards. He was honestly really, really good, and I, for one, must admit when I'm wrong. I said, guys, don't expect Jalen Hurts to ball out against the New Orleans Saint defense because that's a great Saint defense. Did he ball out statistically? No. I mean, the rushing was good, but throwing the football wasn't lights out. He still the completion percentage wasn't that great, but he honestly played so well and was the reason why Philadelphia was in it to win it, especially late there at the end and ended up winning it overall. Huge fan of what Jalen Hurts was able to do. Congratulations, and guess what? Even though Doug Peterson did not name him the starting quarterback today in his press conference, his meeting with 94.1 WIP, he is going to be the starting quarterback, and he's earned the right to at least do it next week against former Oklahoma quarterback as well, Kyler Murray, and probably the rest of the year. It's his dress rehearsal. If he plays well, we could be looking at the quarterback of the future. What's your grade on his performance, A through F? A, nothing less than A, right? A minus? Wasn't perfect, but pretty darn good. That was a great defense, and he made them look bad. It was one of the worst defensive performances of the Saints in a very, very long time. First time they've had a 100-yard rusher, or they've given up a 100-yard rusher in 55 games, and they had 2 of them, Sanders and Hurts. Give me your grade for him down below. All right, this kind of piggybacks off of our first overreaction. Next one is Carson Wentz is done, and honestly, it seems like it. Now, It's one game. We're not going to freak out. We've seen conflicting reports this week about they'll trade Wentz, they won't trade Wentz. That'll all be decided in the offseason. But this is not a good day. It was not a good day for one Carson Wentz, who watched the offense that he was in charge of for the past 12 weeks look anemic under his reign and really looked fantastic under the Jalen Hurts reign. Now, again, if Hurts comes out next week and lays an egg against the Cardinal defense, then maybe you go back to the fact this is an offensive problem. But it was not a good day overall for Carson Wentz, who has had the worst, really, season of his entire career, even dating back to his rookie year where they went 7-9. You can argue that the play calling looked a little different, looked a little better. I thought Doug Peterson had one of his better days as a play caller and an offensive mind for the Philadelphia Eagles, and maybe you start to wonder, where was the extra runs to Miles Sanders when Wentz was in there? Where were the rollouts that were designed for Jalen Hurts yesterday when Carson Wentz was in there? These are all question marks that I still have, and seemingly it felt like that Wentz got kind of a bad deal the first couple of weeks, but you cannot deny the fact that if Jalen Hurts continues to play well, why would they pull him out? Why would they pick Carson Wentz next year over Jalen Hurts, especially if Hurts wins out and somehow gets this team to the postseason? The wide receivers were better. I thought that they were more open. Does that mean that it's Jalen Hurts' fault that they were open? I don't really know, but I thought that Jalen Reagor looked good. Goddard had a couple of big catches, again, wide open, and then Sanders and Greg Ward didn't do much, but Greg Ward had a big catch on third down later on in that football game. I'll be honest, like I said, I think we're at the point where we could potentially be seeing Carson Wentz play his last snap in Philadelphia last week. Do you guys agree? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. It's still early. Again, if Hurts looks terrible against the Cardinals and somehow gets this team out of the postseason run, then I bet there's a quarterback battle in training camp next year. But if Hurts somehow wins out, and we're talking more about the postseason in a second, Carson Wentz is going to get traded next year, and I would say that right now, even betting on it in terms of it being a real fact that could happen in the next couple of months. Okay, back to the jersey deal we talked about earlier on in this video. So all you got to do is get a deposit down with our friends at BetUS. We're doing this promo through BetUS, of course, and so here's the overall deal. If you haven't signed up to do any sports betting, here's our incentive to get you guys to get into the world of sports betting. You're probably on the fence, on the wire, like, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? Well, this is a great deal to go ahead and get a free jersey as well as a great deposit bonus when you sign up with our friends at BetUS. Got to use our link first, chatsports.com/EaglesBet. You see it down below me right now. And then put a $100 deposit down and go and use our promo code EAGLES125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. Again, all you gotta do, use the promo code, $100 down, EAGLES125 as well. Of course, the link, chatsports.com/EaglesBet, and then pick the jersey that you want, the size, an official Eagles Nike jersey. It is all authentic and all real, and all you got to do is, like I said, go through the links, go through the promo code, and then email us, eagles@chatsports.com, to redeem your jersey. A lot of people want to make sure this is legit, and of course it is, and the best way to do that is to email us, eagles@chatsports.com, shows us that you signed up, tells us what jersey you want, what player you want, and then we get your info and send it to you. It's just that simple. Again, any questions about it, any questions about betting in general, if you've never done it, the email works as well. We answer all general questions about either promotion or signing up or just gambling in general. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet, the place to go, and then email us, eagles@chatsports.com. Again, pick your jersey. I mean, you get a new Jalen Hurts one. He looks pretty good. Get a nice Eagle green number 2. Jump on that deal right now. Okay, more thoughts here. Listen, the defense is balling, and the defense has been balling the past couple of weeks. They were really, really good on Sunday against the Saints. 21 points allowed, 358 total yards, but it felt a little inflated. They had 5 sacks. They had 2 takeaways. I mean, that alone, a strip sack, and then the interception was something we have not seen all year long, and they were great on third down, 5 for 12. You got to give some props to not only Josh Sweat, who needs more plays because he's been really, really good, but Javon Hargrave. I ripped Javon Hargrave like 3 weeks ago, and since then, he's been one of their best pass rushers. He was great yesterday. I watched the film on Javon Hargrave. Duke Riley led the team in tackles. I mean, who was your defensive MVP here? You want to say Riley? I think all 3. Josh Sweat, 2 big sacks, the big strip sack, obviously, of Taysom Hill. Javon Hargrave was an absolute beast in the middle. Props to Jim Schwartz. He really game planned the Saints very, very well. And again, it's a Saints football team that even though they don't have Drew Brees, Hill's won his last 3 starts and looked really good last week doing it against the Falcon offense. Your big reason why they won, I think, was the slowing down of Alvin Kamara, a guy who had very little on the ground, not much through the air. I thought the defense, again, was just unbelievable. Props to them overall. Josh Sweat, I know he has to rotate in there because Derek Barnett is still a good football player, but I want to see more Josh Sweat. He might be the steal of the draft in the 4th round a couple of years ago. 5 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, the strip sack. I mean, he's been balling out when he's been in there. You got to see more. I mean, I need to see more of this Eagle defense continuing to play well and more of Josh Sweat. But the front 4, with the injuries in the secondary and the kind of mediocre play at linebacker minus Alex Singleton, I think these guys have been really, really good. And we got to give credit where credit is due. They're the reason Philadelphia, even with 4 wins, would be a tough out in the postseason. And speaking of postseason, listen, the playoff hopes are technically still alive, but we got to root for the Seattle Seahawks next week. I mean, you got to put your Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson gear on right now because they play Washington, more on that in a second, but Washington has to lose 2 of their next 3. Now, they play Philadelphia final week of the year, so the Eagles must win out and get some help from Washington and probably the Giants as well. But of course, the tie the Eagles has looms large on their ability to go ahead and win this division, even though right now, technically 2 games out of first place in the win column. The confidence level has gone up with that win, but they still got to, take care of business. And we'll show the schedules here in a second, but I'm feeling pretty good about Philadelphia's chances of winning the NFC East. Do you guys agree? I'm at like a 6 or a 7. I don't want to get to a 9 or a 10 because you're not there yet, and Washington's been really good, but I think the confidence level for me has gone up a lot. I want to see what you guys think in the comment section. Again, here's Washington's final 3 games. They got Seattle this week, Carolina, and then at Philadelphia. They have to lose one of the 2 in terms of Seattle and Carolina. So you hope the Seahawks can win next week, and really they should. Seattle looked really good against a bad Jet team. And then, of course, the Eagles have to beat them week 17 in Philadelphia. An NFC East showdown in the final week of the year. That's what happens every single year. Of course, Philadelphia, no room for error. You cannot lose to the Cardinals or Cowboys. You lose to either one of those players, barring Seattle losing all 3 of their games, you're done. So you got to win against the Cardinals, a tough matchup against a good football team. So it's 1 week at a time, but you can't help but look up and go, okay, the defense and the offense we saw against the Saints last week, or really yesterday, if that shows up against the Cardinals, who are, they're good, but they're a little hit or miss right now. They were good on defense yesterday, but have struggled on offense. So if you can slow them down, you assume you can beat Dallas, even though they got a win against a lowly Bengal team yesterday. And then anything, all bets are off against the Washington football team you've not seen since week 1. So my confidence is there. Obviously, if you lose next week and Washington wins, then you kind of go, all right, well, so much for that. But still, you got to be a little bit confident because the team seems to be a little bit revitalized and rejuvenated, and they feel like they can win just based on what you saw yesterday with Hurts against the Seattle Seahawks. And if they get in, you're a 4 seed. You play the eventual, 7th seed, or I think it would be, it'd be the 5th seed overall, which could be like the Bucks or somebody else. There are a lot of good teams in the NFC, but some beatable and winnable games as well. And honestly, we've seen the Philadelphia Eagles get in the postseason and make a run. Who knows what can happen? I honestly just want to see it happen right now because I'm pumped about it. There you go, though. Ultimately up for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. A full breakdown of this big win, unbelievable win, with some injury updates as well. Stay tuned for more videos this week as we get you guys ready for what are the biggest 3 games of the year. And honestly, Jalen Hurts, starting quarterback. Who knows what happens here in the next couple of days. Ultimately up for today, again, on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.